Hello students, today I am here to discuss 2016 O-Level examination paper. So can you see this is mentioned new? So this is the new syllabus started from 2016 to 5 years. So we are still doing the new syllabus. So what are the important things in this paper? So first thing you have to put the index number. And you can see the paper is 2 hours and you get 2 parts. Part A, 25 short questions and part B, 5 long questions. So read the instructions before you start the paper. This paper consists of 8 pages and write your index number correctly in the appropriate place on this page and page 3. Answer all questions on this question paper itself and use the space provided under each question for working and writing the answer. So you can't ask for line papers. And what about marks? So each question in part A worth 2 marks and part B worth 10 marks. So when it comes to time, you can spend 2 minutes 24 seconds for each question in part A and 12 minutes for part B questions. So we'll start to do paper 1. So it's 32 E1 means English medium, paper 1 and 32 means the mathematics number. 1 to 7 you can try these questions and write down the answers in the space provided. So we'll do step by step. Question number 1. Duty of 6% has to be paid when an item worth 800 rupees is imported. Find the duty. So you have to just find the duty value. So 6%, 6 over 100 into 800. So you don't need to write down sentences here because just 2 marks for each question. So 2 zeros get cancelled out. 8 times 6, 48. But you have to write down the units. This is rupees, 48 rupees. So you get 2 marks, 1 mark for the answer and 1 mark for the method. Question number 2. In the given Venn diagram, shade the region that represents the subset A intersection B. So you already know, but I want to explain this. So put letters for each region A, B, C, D. If you take A, what are the elements in A? B and C. What are the elements in B? C and D. What's intersection? Common for both A and B. So what are common? We can see C is common. So the region C is the intersection. So if you take this part is the intersection of these two. So you can write down here. They are asking to shade. So this part you have to shade. How many marks? So straight away you get 2 marks. Question number 3. A bus which moves at a uniform speed travels a distance of 48 meters in 3 seconds. Find the speed of the bus in meters per second. So here what's the formula? If you take distance, speed, time, what's the formula? Distance is equal to speed into time. If you want speed, that's distance divided by time. And if you want time, that's distance divided by speed. So if you can remember this one, it's easy. So we need to find out the speed. So speed is equal to 48 meters and the time is 3 seconds. So 48 divided by 3, 3 times 1, 3 and 6, 3 times 6, 18. So 18 meters per second. This is how we write down the units. So 2 marks, 1 mark for dividing and 1 mark for the answer. Question number 4, log notation. So you are asked to write in index form. Log 10 base 100 is equal to 2. So how you write in index notation? We consider 10 to the power 2 is 100. So remember that. So how you write down this one? So log 2 base 16 is equal to 4. So that means when you take this way, 2 to the power 4 is 16. So that's true. 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times you get 16. So you get 2 marks straight away. Solve. The product is equal to 0. So if 2 products are there is equal to 0, you can say either A should be equal to 0 or B equals 0. So this is also a product. So what can you say about these two products? X minus 1 should be equal to 0 or X minus 2 should be equal to 0. So what are the two values? X is 1 or X is equal to 2. So those are the two solutions. So you get 1 mark for this and 1 mark for the other solution. So you are getting 2 marks straight away for the correct answer. So what happens if the answer is wrong? You are not getting any single mark. So that's why it is important to write down the steps, because sometimes you get half of the mark for the method. Question number 6. Write all the positive integers that satisfy the inequality 2x plus 1 less than or equal to 5. Take 1 to the other side. You get 5 minus 1, that's 4. Now divide by 2. When you are dividing by positive numbers, nothing happens to the sign. X less than or equal to 4 divided by 2 is 2. So they are asking, write all the positive integers satisfy this. So what are the positive integers? 2 is included as well as less than. 2 means 1 also included. But you can't write 0 because 0 is not a positive integer. So these two answers. So here 1 mark and 1 mark there. Question number 7. Simplify algebraic fractions. So what you have to do? You have to find out the lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple of x and 2x is 2x. So multiply this by 2 and here you can write as it is. 2 plus 1, 3. So 3 over 2x. So 1 mark for the answer and 1 mark for the method. Now you can try question number 8 to 14. Question number 8. Find the least common multiple of the two algebraic expressions xy and x squared. So what are the factors of x and y? X into y. Here x squared. So you can find out the maximum power of the distinct terms. So what is the lowest common multiple? X term, the highest power is 2. Y terms, that's y. So this is one method. What's the other method? You can take the two terms and see what are the factors. So You can divide by x. Then this becomes y, this is x. You can divide by x again, this becomes 1 and you can't divide this by x. Then divide by y, 1 and 1. Till you get 1, you can divide. So what's the lowest common multiple? You multiply these values. So x squared, y. So you get 2 marks for that. Question number 9. It takes 6 hours to harvest a paddy field with a machine. How many hours will it take to harvest this paddy field with 3 such machines? Now these are machines now. Machine and how many hours? So it says 6 hours and just 1 machine. How many hours will it take to harvest this paddy field with 3 such machines? So if this is 3, what's the value of this? So we can calculate machine hours. Machine hours. So how many machine hours are there? 1 into 6, 6. But now same machine hours but 3 machines. With this 3 machines, how many hours you need? So that means 6 divided by 3, you need. So that means it takes 2 hours to complete the work. So 2 hours is the answer. So you get 2 marks, 1 mark here and 1 mark for the method. Question number 10. Write the probability of getting a card with an odd number written on it. When a card is drawn randomly from a box which contains 3 identical cards with the numbers 1 to 3 written on them. So what's the sample space? You can get either 1, 2 or 3. So if A is getting a card with odd number, what are the possibilities? 1 and 3. So what's the probability? They're asking probability of getting A. Odd number. Altogether 3 possibilities are there. Out of that, now it's 2 possibilities. So 2 over 3. So 1 mark here and 1 mark for identifying the sample space and the correct set. Using the information given in the table, find the first approximation of root 90. So we'll have a look. What's the closest value for 90 when you look at this x squared? So the gap is minimum here. 90.25 means just the difference is 0.25. All the other values, it's more than that. So here closest value, you can take 90.25. When you take the square root of that, so this is the closest value, 90.25. What's the square root value? 9.5. So 9.5 is the answer. So you can write down 9.5. And can you remember multiplication? When you get 5s in the units place, how you multiply? 5 squared, 25. And if it's 15 squared, how you find out the square terms? 25 comes always. So this is also 25 comes. The front number is 1 times 2. You will multiply by the next number. So 2 comes. Now if it's decimals, think about that you have 0.5 squared, you get 2 decimal places. So this is 0.25. 1.5 squared, 2.25. So 25 squared. So how you get? 25 you get Here 2 times 3, 6, 6.25. So likewise, if it's 9.5, squared means 5 times 5, 25. Front number you multiply by the next one, 9 times 10, 90. So that's how you get 90.25. So we found the answer. The closest approximated value for root 90 is 9.5. So you get 2 marks for identifying that value. Question number 12. The two triangles ABC and PQR in the figure are congruent. Find the values of x, y and z using the given information. So we can see this length is equal to this length and this AB length is equal to PR. So corresponding elements are equal. So think about x is in front of this double line length. So what is x then? X should be 61 because in front of the double line. What is y then? Y is in front of this single line. So what's the value in front of the single line? That's 60. And what's the z value? Z value is the opposite to this line. That means opposite to AC line. That's 59. So finding any two values, you get 1 mark. If all three values are correct, you get 2 marks. Question number 13. The radius of a solid cylinder is 7 centimeters and its height is 2 centimeters. Taking 22/7 for the value of pi, find the area of its curved surface. So if it's a cylinder with radius r and height h, what's the curved surface? 2 pi RH. 2 pi RH. So you can substitute the values. 2 into pi is 22/7. Radius is 7 and height is 2. 7 get cancelled out. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 22, that's 88 square centimeters. So 2 marks. Substitute to the formula and getting the correct answer. Find the value of x using the information given in the figure. Look at carefully. This length is equal to this length. So that means isosceles triangle, this is x. And you are asked to find out x. Now look at this one. CDEF is a cyclic quadrilateral. So this is the exterior angle of the cyclic quadrilateral. That's equal to opposite interior angle. So straight away x is 65. Again, this is an isosceles. So if this is x, this is also x. Then CDEF is a cyclic quadrilateral. This exterior angle of the cyclic quadrilateral is equal to the opposite angle. So 65. So identifying, we use two things. So identifying properly, that's 1 mark, and finding the solution, 1 mark. Now you can try 15 to 20. Given that cos x is 0.8, find the length of PQ using the information in the figure. So what are the three ratios you need to remember? So cat to R. Sine ratio is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. So always opposite to 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. So this is hypotenuse. And to this angle, this is the adjacent value. So you need cos ratio, cos x. So what is cos x? A means the adjacent, that means PQ here. PQ over 3. But we know cos x value is 0.8. It's given. So what's PQ length? You can multiply 0.8 by 3. So PQ becomes 0.8 times 3, 2.4. So this is in centimeters. So 2 marks, 1 mark for finding answer and 1 mark for using the correct trigonometric ratio. Question number 16. Write the values that are obtained for M and C. So what's M? Gradient. C is the intercept. When the equation of the straight line in the figure is expressed in the form y equals mx plus c. Look at the graph carefully. It crosses the y-axis at this point. So this is called the y-intercept or intercept. So this is the c value. So c is 1. So what's this gradient? You can read the 2 points and use the formula. So what is this point? 3 with 2. What about this point? 0 with 1. Now you use the gradient formula. Gradient is equal to difference between y coordinates over difference between x coordinates. So you can use either y1 minus y2 over x minus x2 or other way around, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's the difference between y coordinates? 2 minus 1 over 3 minus 0. You get 1 over 3. So gradient is m. M is 1/3, c equals 1. So what is the equation of the line? Y equals m. M means 1 over 3x plus 1. So identifying m, 1 mark. Identify c, 1 mark. Question number 17. In the table, place the marked correct sign in the boxes in front of the true statements, and if any, and the mark cross 1 in the boxes in front of the false statements. Read and try to understand. In a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal and parallel. What do you think? Yes, it's true, because if it's a parallelogram, it's parallel as well as equal. That's correct. In a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. That's also true. This angle is equal to this one. This angle is equal to this one. Opposite angles are equal. The area of a parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. So that's also true. When you draw the diagonal, so the areas of the two triangles are equal, and that area of one triangle is half of the area of the parallelogram. So exactly divide into 2 parts. So that's also correct. So you get 2 marks for all 3 correct answers and 1 mark for at least 2 statements are correct. Question number 18. Using the information given in the figure, find the magnitude of CDA. This one. This is a cyclic quadrilateral. What's the property of a cyclic quadrilateral? Opposite angles add up to 180. So what is CDA? 180 minus 80. So you get 100 degrees. So that's the value. So you get 1 mark for the method and 1 mark for the answer. The radius of the circle with center O in the figure is 10 centimeters. So that means if you draw the line from here to here, that means this is 10. That's the radius. Find the length of the chord AB using given information. According to the theorem, when you draw a perpendicular from the center, the chord divides equally. So what we can do, we can find out AX and then multiply by 2 to get the length of AB. How we find out the AX length? You know this is a right angle triangle. You can use Pythagoras Theorem. So AX squared is equal to 10 squared minus 8 squared. Hypotenuse is 10. 100 minus 64, that's 36. That is 6 squared is AX squared. So what is AX? That's 6 centimeters. And what is AB then? AB is 2 times 6, 12 centimeters. So 2 marks, 1 mark for the length and 1 mark to find out the AX length. Question number 20. Given that A equals this, B equals this, find the matrix of AB. A is 2 rows, 2 columns, 2 by 2. B is 2 by 2. We know if the number of columns in the first one is equal to number of rows in the second one, you can multiply. So AB, you get 1201 into 2004. So the resulting matrix is 2 by 2. So you get 4 values. How you find out the values? First row, first column. 1 with 2, that's 2. 2 with 0, 0. Answer is 2. First row, second column. 1 with 0, 0. 2 times 4, 8. You are multiplying and adding the 2 values. 0 times 2, 0. 1 times 0, 0. 0 plus 0, 0. Second row, second column. 0 into 0, 0. 1 times 4, 4. So the final solution is this. So you get 2 marks if all are correct, or if all elements are correct, or 1 mark if halfway correct. Now try 21 to 25. Question number 21. Find the magnitude of EFC. EFC means this angle. Using the information relevant to the triangle ABC in the figure. Now can you say E is the midpoint of AB, F is the midpoint of AC. According to midpoint theorem, EF is parallel to BC. So first thing you need to remember, midpoint theorem. EF is parallel to BC. If these are parallel, can you say if this is 70, this is 70? Corresponding angles are equal. Now you can easily find out EFC value. That's the exterior angle of this triangle AEF. So we add 30 and 70. Sum of opposite interior angles add up to exterior angle. So that's 100 degrees. So 2 marks, 1 mark for the correct answer and 1 mark for identifying the answer. Question number 22. The center of the circle in the figure lies on AC. Find the magnitude of CBD. CBD, you need this one. Using the given information. AC is the diameter. So what can you say about the B angle? This is 90 degrees. Semicircle angles are 90 degrees. So this is 90. And here when you take AD arc, so this is the angle at one segment. So that's equal to this one. Same segment angles are equal. Now we need CBD. CBD equals 90 minus 25. Because the whole thing is 90, this is 25. 90 minus 25, you get 65 degrees. So you get 2 marks for the method and the answer. Question number 23. Find the volume of the triangular prism in the figure using the given information. So this is a prism. So you need to know the cross section. So what's the cross section? This is the cross section of the prism. So that's a right angle triangle. So what's the volume of the triangular prism? The cross sectional area, half times height is 6 and we can say base is 5. And then this is the length of the prism, 7. 2 times 3, 6. So 3 times 5, 15. 15 times 7, 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 1, 7 plus 3, 10. So 105, this is about volume, cubic centimeters. So 1 mark and 1 mark here. Question number 24. The first 12 data of 23 data that are written in ascending order is as follows. 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15. Write the median. Median means the middle value for an ordered data set and the first quartile of the 23 data. So this is half given, 12 data points given. How we find out the median first? We know if it's 23, 23 plus 1, 24 divided by 2, 12th one is the median. So this is 12 data points. So that means the last number is the median. And then quartile. First quartile, you can divide this by half or you can do 1/4. So 23 plus 1 divided by 4. 24 divided by 4 means 6th one. 6th one is the first quartile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is first quartile. So you can write median is 15. First quartile I can put Q1. That's 8. So 1 mark each, identifying the median and the first quartile. Question number 25. In the figure, draw a sketch of the construction lines required to find the point on AC that is equidistant from the points A and B. Indicate this point by naming it D. So what are the loci points you need to remember? Equidistance from a point is a circle. And then equidistance from 2 points is the perpendicular bisector. And equidistance from 2 lines is the angle bisector. And equidistance from a line is 2 parallel lines above and below. So those are the 4 things that you need to remember. Now which one you have to apply here? You have to apply this one, second one, the perpendicular bisector. So what you have to do, you have to draw the perpendicular bisector and find out the intersecting point with AC. That's the D point. So we'll do it. Now we'll take the compass and draw the perpendicular bisector. So what you do, you take any certain distance more than half of the length A to B, and then you draw an arc above and below. And also keep the compass on top of the B point and draw an arc here and this way. So can you see? It's not intersecting. That means you have to draw the arc again. So you have to continue the arc again. So here, now it's okay. Now you can use the ruler to connect this. Here to here. That's the perpendicular bisector. Where's D then? Where it cuts the AC line. So D is here. So you get 2 marks. Drawing the perpendicular bisector 1 mark and identifying the D point 1 mark. So that's the last question in part A. Now we'll discuss part B questions. So here, answer all questions on this question paper itself. So try 1 and 2 now. Question number 1, you get 4 parts. So we'll do each step separately. Question number 1. Mr. Kitsiri made a cash donation to a company center. 2/9 of the total amount he donated was used to buy musical instruments and half to buy sports equipment. Find what fraction of the total amount was used to buy the musical instruments and sports equipment. So that means just addition of the 2 fractions. So just add it, 2/9 and 1/2. So that's the total parts. What's the common denominator? Lowest common multiple is 18 and convert to 18. This is multiplied by 2. 2 times 2, 4. 2 becomes 18 by multiplying this by 9. 9 times 1, 9. 9 plus 4, you get 13. So 13/18 parts. 1/5 of the remaining amount was used to buy books. So first you need to find out the remaining parts. So what is remaining parts? So remaining parts is 1 minus 13/18. So that means we can write 1 as 18/18 minus 13/18. That becomes 5/18. Then 1/5 of the remaining part used to buy books. So what's the part for books? 5/18 and multiplied by 1/5. So it's 1/18. So what fraction of the total amount was used to buy books? 1/18. Now let's take the next one. The amount remaining after purchasing the books was used to renovate the community center. Find what fraction of the total amount was used for the renovation. So what are the total parts now? Now it says for books 1/18 and for here 2/9 of the total amount donated was used to buy musical instruments and sport equipments. That's 13/18. So what's the total amount used? Used parts altogether? 13/18 and 1/18. 13/18 and 1/18. That becomes 14/18. Simplify. You can divide by 2. 7/9. Out of 9 parts, 7 parts used now. So find the fraction of the total amount was used for the renovation. So that's the remaining part. So for renovation, used 1 minus 7 over 9 remaining parts. So that means 9 over 9 is 1 minus 7 over 9. You can write 2 over 9 parts for renovation. If the renovation cost was 20,000 rupees, find the total amount Mr. Kitsiri donated. So 2 over 9 parts means 20,000 rupees. How we find out the total amount? So the total amount is 20,000. You divide by 2 to get 1 part and multiply by 9. So you get 90,000 rupees. So 90,000 rupees for the amount. So now we'll see how you can get marks. So we'll look at the marking scheme. So according to the marking scheme, so this is provided from the government to mark your paper. So we'll look at the marks. So in the first paper and for first part, so you get 13 over 18. So that's 2 marks for the first part. 2 marks, first addition of these two, 1 mark, and getting the correct answer, 1 mark. And then finding the remaining amount, 5 over 18, 1 mark, and taking 1/5 of that, you get 2 marks. Here 1 and 1 mark for the answer. Then third part, you are getting addition of all 1 mark, 13 and this 1 mark. And then remaining part. So you get 1 mark. So 7 over 9 for the answer and the method 1 mark, and getting this another 1 mark. So 3 marks for that part, and the last part you get 2 marks. So 2 marks, how you get 1 mark for this method and 1 mark for the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 marks for the first question. Now you can try question number 2. So question number 2 also you get 4 parts. We'll take the first one. The pie chart given in the figure shows how a certain group of farmers selected various types of vegetables for growing. Each farmer grew only one type of vegetable. The number of farmers who selected pumpkins is equal to the number of farmers who selected brinjals. So that means this angle and this angle both are equal. Find the magnitude of the angle at the center of the sector that represent the farmers who selected brinjals. This is 90. This is 30. So 90 plus 30, 120. So altogether 360 degrees, and when you subtract 120, what you get? 240. 240 degrees for both pumpkins and brinjals. Both are equal. So what is the angle for which one? Brinjals. So the angle is, you have to divide this by 2. 240 divide by 2. So you get 120 degrees. So here we'll use blue pen to write down. For the exam, you can't use red pen, only black or blue. And teachers use red pen to give marks. And when you want to draw graphs, you have to use a pencil. So I'll write all these in blue color. Okay, so the next part. The number of farmers who selected green beans is 15. So this part is 15. Find the number of farmers who selected pumpkins. So pumpkins we found out that's 120. This is 120, so that's also 120. So 30 degrees is 15. So we need 120 degrees. So can you see 30 half is 15. So 120 half is 60. Or you can just do the calculation. 15 over 30. 15 over 30 into 120. So 0, 0 get cancelled out. 3 times 4. 15 times 4. You get 60. Now let's take the next one. Part 3. Find the total number of farmers represented in this pie chart. So we can use the same thing. 30 degrees is 15. So what about 360 degrees? So 30 degrees is 15. 360 degrees, again 30 becomes 15, half of it. 360, half of it, 180. Or you can do the calculation. 15 divided by 30 and multiplied by 360. You get 36 times 5, that's 180. So altogether 180 farmers are there. Last part. After 1 year, 20 farmers who had been growing brinjals stopped growing vegetables. Find the magnitude of the angle at the center of the sector which represent the farmers growing brinjals in a new pie chart drawn considering the changed data. So 20 farmers moved. So there are two methods. You can find out the total number of farmers for brinjals and find the angle, or just how many farmers moved. For that one, we find out the angle and add it to the previous one. So we'll do that. So 30. You always use this one. 15 farmers means 30 degrees. Now we are using other way around. What about 20 farmers? What's the angle? 15 becomes 30, double it. 20 becomes double it, 40 degrees. So 40 degrees is the change. Earlier, what was the angle for brinjals? That's 120. So now you have to subtract 40 degrees from 120. So the new angle becomes 80 degrees. So this is the new angle. So this is one method. Or what you can do, you can find out the total farmers. That means before we found out how many farmers? 60. So 60 and then 20 moved means 60 minus 20, 40. Now for 40 you can find out the angle. So how you do that then? Again 15 means 30. What about 40 degrees? 40 means what's the angle? Double it. 80 degrees. So either this way or this way you can find out the angle. Final answer is 80 degrees. So that's the last part, and now we'll look at how you get marks for this question. So you get 3 marks for the first part, finding the angle 120. So first thing, getting 120, that's 90 plus 31 mark. And then 240 40 divided by 2. 1 mark, and final answer 1 mark. So 3 marks for the first part. And for the second part, 60 is the answer and you get just 2 marks. 1 mark here and 1 mark there. And for the third part, you are getting another 2 marks. So answer is 180. So 1 mark for this method and 1 mark for the answer. And the last one, you get 3 marks. How you get 3 marks? So you get 2 marks for this method and 1 mark for this. So finally, you get 3, 2, that's 5, 5 and 3, 8, and these 2, 10 altogether. So that's question number 2. Now we'll do question number 3, and you can try 3, 4, 5. So question number 3, you get 4 parts. So we'll do step by step. Mr. Perera, who is an investor in the stock market, invests 40,000 rupees to buy shares of a company at the market price of 80 rupees per share. The company pays annual dividends of 6 rupees per share. Find the number of shares Mr. Perera buys. So how we find out that? So number of shares, you can get it straight away from 40,000 he invested. Each one is, the market price is 80. So you can find out using this. 8 times 5, that's 500. So 500 shares he bought. Find the annual dividend income Mr. Perera receives. Each one 6 rupees. So annual dividend each one 6 rupees and 500 shares are there. So 3,000 rupees is the annual dividend income. After 1 year, Mr. Perera sells all the shares and makes a capital gain of 3,500. Find the selling price of a share. So here, from the previous part, he invested 40,000 and gained 3,500 from that. So how you find out the selling price of a share? So total value is 40,000 plus 3,500, and that's 43,500 rupees. And to find out the selling price, you have to divide this by number of shares. So number of shares you found 500. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 5 times 8, 40. So 35, that's 7. So 87 rupees is the selling price of a share. Now we'll take a look at the next part. Mr. Perera adds 3,500 to the capital gain and dividend income he receives and deposits the whole amount for a period of 2 years in a fixed deposit account which pays an annual compound interest rate of 10%. Find the total amount in the account at the end of the 2 years. So what's the total amount? $3,500 to the capital gain and dividend income. So we have to find out separately what's the Annual dividend is 3,000 and gain 3,500 and another 3,500. So 3,000 plus 3,500 plus another 3,500. That's the invested amount. 7,000. So 7 plus 3, 10. 10,000 rupees he invested now in a bank. So that's 10% compound interest. Find the total amount in the account at the end of the 2 years. So the total amount after 2 years. How you do that? This is the deposited amount. And 10% annual compound interest means if you give 100, you get 110. 110 over 100. This is for 1 year. Multiply this by 110 over 100. You get the value after 2 years. 2 zeros and another 2 zeros get cancelled out. 110 times 110. So you put 2 zeros. 11 times 11 is 121. So the amount, total amount after 2 years is 12,100 rupees. Take a look at how you get marks. So the first part, calculating number of shares, you get 2 marks, 1 and 1. And then for the second part, 500 times 6, that's 3,000, 2 marks. And the third step, calculating the total amount and divide by 500, that's 87, 2 marks for that. So 1 mark and 1 mark here. And the last part, 12,100. 12,100 again, you get for this part 4 marks. 4 marks for this part. So you get 1 mark for finding the value and 4 marks here. So you get 1 here. So this part 1, 1 and another 1. The whole part is 4 marks. So 4, 2, 6, 6, 4, 10. So 10 marks for question number 3. Now let's take question number 4. There are 3 red tennis balls and 1 green tennis ball in a box. A ball is drawn from the box. Its color is recorded and is put back. A ball is drawn from the box again and its color is also recorded. The balls are drawn randomly. Indicate the relevant sample space in the given grid using the mark X. R1, R2, R3 represent red balls and G represents the green ball. So you need to mark the sample space. Now it says after you take it, you put it back. So replacing. So that means if you take R1 first, you can get R1 again or R2, R3 or G. If you take R2 first, you can get R1, R2, R3 and G. So all possibilities are there. So you have to put all X's. Those are the possible outcomes. And indicate the event of drawing the green ball at least once by encircling it in the grid and write down its probability. So what are the possibilities? Drawing at least once. Green at least once. If you take the red one, green at least once. So this one, green at least once. Here this outcome, green twice, and all the other, this possibility, green once. So this is the required sample space. So here if you put A for this, and you are asked to find out the probability of getting A. What is A? At least one green. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outcomes out of 4 times 4, 16. So 7 over 16 is the probability of getting at least one green one. And the next one, 2 of the 3 red balls are each marked with the letter X. So there are 3 red ones now. So red, 2 reds, you get X. And 1 remaining red and the green ball each marked with letter Y. So again 2 there, 1 red and 1 green. Now this is X and Y. Suppose that the letter marked on the ball was also recorded in each of the above drawings. Complete the following tree diagram relevant to this random experiment. So, getting Y out of 4, 2 possibilities. So, when you simplify, that's half. That's why it's given half. So, what's the probability of getting X? 2 out of 4, that's half. This is replacing, so getting X again half, getting Y again half. This is getting X again here half and getting Y again half. So this is the completed diagram. Complete the following tree diagram relevant to this random experiment. And then you need to answer questions. Find the probability of drawing balls marked with the same letter on both occasions. So you can get X or X, that same letter, or Y twice, Y or Y. So now how you find out X and X? That's this branch, half into half. What's getting Y and Y? Half into half. So half into half plus half into half. So you get 1/4 plus 1/4, that becomes 2/4, or when you simplify, you get half. Then the last part, state with reasons whether there is a greater probability of drawing balls marked with the same letter on both occasions or drawing the green ball at least once. So we found out what's the probability of getting green ball at once. That was in part 2. 7 over 16. That's 7 over 16. And what's the probability of getting same color? Not same color, same letter. We found out that's half. You need to compare these two. So you can't compare because the denominators are different. So we can find the equivalent fractions, convert to 16. This becomes 8. 8 times 2, 16. So 8 times 1. So which one is bigger? We can see 8 over 16 is bigger than 7 over 16. So this probability is the highest one. So they are asking, state with reasons, which one is greater probability? Getting same letter is high. Getting same letter has greater probability. Getting same letter has greater probability. So that's the last part. So we'll see how you get marks there. First part, you get 1 mark for identifying the sample space. Just 1 mark. And part 2, 2 marks. Encircling this part, 1 mark, and finding 7/16, another mark. So altogether 3 here. Next part, you get 3 marks. For the whole diagram, you get 3 marks. With correct probabilities here, 1 and 2 here. 3 marks. And fourth part, you get 2 marks. Identifying both probabilities, and here answer, 2 marks altogether. And fifth one, giving reason. So this is greater, and that's 1 mark. And writing down, getting same letter has greater probability, 1 mark. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 marks for that question. Now try last question in paper 1. So this is about area. So 4 parts are there. We'll see how you can do it. Question number 5. A sketch of the floor of a theatre is shown in the figure. It consists of a semicircular part CED on which the stage is built and a rectangular part ABCD where the auditorium is built. The length of DC is 14 meters. In the following calculation, use 22/7 for the value of pi when required. Find the arc length of the semicircle CED. So that's a semicircle. Diameter is 14. So how you find out the arc length? So I can find out arc length using half pi d. Pi is 22/7. D is 14. 7 times 2 and 2 get cancelled out. That's 22 meters. Find the area of the floor on which the stage is built. That's also a semicircle. So what's the area? Half pi 22/7 r squared. R is 7 now. 7 into 7. 7 get cancelled out, and here 11. 11 times 7, 77 square meters. Next part, if the floor area of the auditorium is 3 times the area of the floor on which the stage is built, find the length of AD. Now what was the area? 77 for the semicircle area. So this is 77. What's the area of the auditorium then? That's 77 times 3. It says 3 times bigger. So area of a rectangle is 77 times 3. That's equal to length into breadth. So length is AD, breadth is 14. So what is AD? 77 into 3 divided by 14. 7 times 2, 7 times here 11. So you get 33 divided by 2. What's the answer? 2 times 1, 2. And for 13, that's 6 and 0.5. 16.5 meters, because this is in meters. Next part, light bulbs have been fixed around the floor on which the stage is built, with bulbs at C and D too. There is an equal gap of 1.4 meters between adjacent bulbs on the line CD. So this way, here to here, bulbs are there. So we need to find out that. Then it says the bulbs on the arc CED are also fixed with an equal gap. So here also trying to fix bulbs. The number of bulbs on the line CD on the arc CED are equal. Calculate the distance along the arc between two adjacent bulbs on the arc CED. So that's easy. First we can find out what's the gap in between bulbs. Gaps in between bulbs along CD length. The length is 14. It says with equal gaps 1.4. So the length between gap is 1.4. So when you divide 1.4, what you get? That means 140 divided by 14. So 10. 10 such gaps are there. So number of bulbs, normally we add 1. So 11 bulbs are there. Now if the number of bulbs are the same, the gaps in between here are also the same. Number of gaps in between along DEC is also the same. So number of gaps along CED. CED is also 10 because number of bulbs are equal means gaps are also equal. Then we found out the arc length of CED is 22 from the previous part. So 22 divided by 10 is the length or distance between two bulbs. Distance between two bulbs, 22 meters divided by 10, that means 2.2 meters. So that's the last part. Now we'll see how you get marks for this question. So you get 22 for the first part, that's 2 marks. 1 and 1. And the second part, 77 square meters, also 2 marks. 1 and 1. So 4 marks there. And the third part, you get 16.5 meters. Just that one, 3 marks. Identifying that 77 times 3 and then equate and finding the solution. Altogether 3 marks there. And the last part again 3 marks. 1 mark to find out number of gaps and divide by this 22 divided by 10, 1 mark, and the answer 1 mark. So this is the last question in paper 1 in 2016 O-level exam.